Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have the blank, which is fantastic, but a lot of A's. So, do I have a bingo here? I'm going to quickly squiz through the alphabet. So many possible racks with the blank, but I'm not optimistic of there being one. I have the AGE ending. Nothing so far. No, this isn't looking promising. Okay, so how to sort the rack out? Well, I think it's a choice of playing AA or changing, and I'm going to change. It might encourage opponents to do the same, and I'm very likely to have a bingo after this. And I do. I have legware. And, well, there'll be a ton of 7s and a ton of 8s. So I have legwares in column 8, but that places the blank on the double letter square. But column 5 is the hottest lane because that's a 4-timer through this I. So what do I have through an I? Not seeing anything so far. That would be regaled as a 7. So I'm considering this rack. Just looking ahead to an S and Gasolier, that doesn't quite work. This rack plus an I. The I one too high for IER words. So that's the Gasolier rack. That's literage. No, not seeing a double-double, but there could well be one. That was quite a quick squiz. So I think I am going to go with column 8. Do I have something which doesn't place the blank on the double letter square? So, well, what about Allegers? 477, that does the job. And I have a non-bingo-y rack, but it's quite balanced. No duplicates, and I have the J for score. So, despite bingoing, my lead only 10 points. What can I do with the J? No obvious hotspots. And none of my tiles go underneath NE. Do I have any way of getting the J doubled? Well, let me consider tripling it first. No, not seeing anything there. I do have Jag in row G. That's not going to score very much. Gosh, tricky rack. What about through ID? Not seeing anything. Can I get value from the X? Well, I can. I could play Granum, which retains the H and the J, but scores 25 points. The rack as a whole was fairly problematic. I think I will go with this. Wow. Well, having kept 2 high-scoring tiles, I draw some more, so that might not have been such a great play. So, what do I have with the Q? Through an A, I would have Caddy and Keyed, but that's going to be for face value. Maybe I should concentrate on getting rid of the J. Opponent hasn't really assisted. I've only got one vowel, which is tricky in terms of getting rid of high-scoring tiles. My B can go after any, but I can't get that to score twice. So what about getting value from arcs by putting something in front of it? Jarks is good, so is barks. And darks, so I could play Judd. Let me see what that looks like. 21 points, leaving a pretty horrible rack. It would be nice to play off more tiles. I could play Bargy. 17 points, keeping the Q. That's pretty lame. Opponent has blocked the U, which I could have used to get rid of the Q. Not seeing any good Q spots, and I've really been the author of my own misfortune here, I think, by playing Granum and keeping JH. I'd really like to play off a lot of tiles, and that's really hard. So, what about playing Hadji? Keeping Q, B, and S. Oh, well, what about just playing Hadj, retaining the I to go with the Q? Yeah. And this is better than Judd because I'm getting rid of one more tile. Okay, I'm having a further thought of playing Jihads. I don't have the A for that. I'm going back to Hadj for 15. Great, I draw a U to go with my Q, and I do have a slender lead. Our opponent's just blocked Obsequi, but that wouldn't have been a great play since it wouldn't have got doubled. 29 for opponent, he takes the lead. F takes a Y, so... well, I could play boys. Bowsy, rather. Interesting. Because I'm playing the U and I've got the Q, but I am retaining an I for QI. 34 points is a decent score, and if opponent doesn't play around a Bowsy, if he plays across from the B, then the U will be available for my Q. But is this the right thing to do? Let me place this black back. So my O can go underneath the J. So what I'm struggling to do is find any QU spots. I guess I would have Beask onto the E. 34 points, keeping YO. That's a better play than Boys or Bowsy, because I'm getting rid of the Q for a similar score, and YO has scoring potential. So in order to make this play, I'm actually playing Squib. So does Squib go somewhere? Well, Squibs plays in column 15. Do I have a QU play in column 12? No, I don't. I don't feel this is great, but I'm going with it. Pretty good. Getting much more back to bingo-y territory. So what about the floating consonants on the board? Well, I don't think there is a bingo here. I'm not seeing one with R, K and S. So I could play crayon, but what about getting the Y doubled? If I play racy, then I'm keeping EENO. That will be 36 points. And crayon the same score, so crayon better, double E. Almost as risky as keeping the JH earlier. So I can improve that slightly by playing Carney. Keeping EO. And I'm going with this. Well, having kept 2 vowels, this could have been worse. But I don't think there's a bingo here. I do have an eye for going after Hadge, but that's unlikely to be particularly productive. I'm looking again at this NE spot, but I don't think many high-scoring tiles go after NE. And I've drawn the second Y for going after the F, so I could play Moti in column 12. What else do I have that could be blocked? Well, my Y can go after the N, that's quite handy. Can I get that to play twice? Possibly not, that's a shame. Great, my Moti spot remains available. And there was a tile to go after NE. So Moti for 34. Not a good rack leave, lots of I's and O's to come. So, is that such a great play? I have moiety on my rack, leaving just an O. That would play in column 2, but not for a big score. This is quite a nice rack, which Moti wrecks. So is there somewhere good for just YO? I certainly do need to split up the O's. What about a play making JO? And I'm looking to play off the M and the Y. No, I'm going back to Moti for 34. Wow, what a pick. Given that I kept IO, this is certainly balanced, and I have tenorist in column 15. I'm not sure if there's a 7 here. I have tritone, so there is, and I have tritones in column 15. Both of those could be blocked, and they're not. Fantastic. So tritones for 77, and wow, what an amazing pick. Absolutely fantastic. I have hitters, thetries, and I have shitter in row K and neps. Will I be bingoing? Always a great deal of good fortune when you have back-to-back bingos, because you're making a bingo from 7 random tiles. No S's and 1 blank to come, so row K may be fairly safe. Do I have a bingo anywhere else other than row K? I'm not sure I do. Can't see anything in column 2. Oh great, well I don't need to worry about that. So, is this best? I think it is. Shitter for 76. And I draw the blank and I have foveate, which plays in column 2, which is absolutely insane, and I have a 150-point lead. So this game, which felt like it got off to quite a slow start, I didn't really feel I had my Scrabble head on, but I've certainly been drawing well. So what if foveate is blocked? Any other bingo lanes? And that's not an obvious lane to block. Opponent blocks it. How irksome, and scores well. So I don't think I am going to have a further back-to-back bingo. I think foveate is the only anagram here. So, what to do? Well, I could play fovea, 9 tiles left. I can play fovea, which gets rid of F and V, which are the troublesome tiles. And really it invites opponent to play down, and that could create floaters. And although 5 random tiles from what's left could be a heap of junk, they could also generate a bingo, especially with the blank. Is that good thinking? Well, if I don't do that, what do I do? Well, let me check the remaining vowels. 11 out of 16, it's all vowels. So maybe F and V would be useful tiles to keep. Not both of them, but maybe one of them. Just wondering if I could set up a selfish S hook in row O. There are no S's or blanks to come apart from the one on my rack. But I'm not seeing such a play. I just don't want to have a ton of vowels. I think the game is won, but it's still nice to try and play well. Just wondering if I can score more. I'm just not seeing anywhere to get rid of the V. So fovea for 20. Wow, well, I don't draw only vowels, I draw a lot of consonants, but they're not bingo-y. Only 4 tiles left. Opponent has the vowels and empties the bag. So I'm not going to be bingoing with this rack. Opponent's not going to be bingoing with his rack either, and I have a 100-point lead. So what about playing alcove? And then can I go out with an AW, or and aura? How about a second spot and or in row O? So I certainly can go out. 39 points is good. Can I do better? What about a play down through the I? No, not seeing anything there. So I'm coming back to alcove for 39. Now I also have orc in column 14. That would be 16 points, so that's the best, I think. Well, that would be the same as the row L play. Just looking for other spots I can go out. Or wide and or. 18 points, so I think that's the best to date. I wonder if there were many higher scoring options than alcove. Well, opponents blocked my or spot, but I have or here for 16. And the final score, 314 for my opponent, 461 for me, a winning margin of 147 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. I was not expecting to win so comfortably at the beginning. So it was me to go first. No bingos here, and I changed. Opponent plays winos. And perigeel is the double-double through the I. No other double-doubles available, but there were plays which got the G doubled. Beaglers and gregales, eelgrass and leaguers. So a few more points were available. Opponent's rack plays Dex for 41, E5. Could have got a double-double with radixes. Now, this was such a troublesome rack. G1, unjam. Yep, that's quite nice. So I played Granum for 25, and I think you can see by looking at the rack leaves why this was problematic. I generally like to leave a decent rack leave, and none of these rack leaves look particularly appealing. A7, Ganja. Yep, that does have an okay rack leave in comparison with the others. Now, opponent's rack plays Arcs, and my rack is massively deteriorating. And I go with Hadge for 15. And again, if you look at these rack leaves, they are really, really horrible. So that's what made it a tricky play. Opponent's rack plays Flub. And what do? I play Beast for 34, and this is me digging my way out of the hole into which I've gone, and digging up rather than digging down. YO holds hope of emerging. So opponent's rack plays Clop, and this is looking a lot better. So I play Carney for 36. Opponent plays Lep. And now I play Moti for 34, which is a half decent score. What else was available? D12. Oh wow, Myoma coming down. Keeping EIOT. Yep, I think both of those moves are fine. So, opponent's rack plays Adit. And now I have Tritones, Notia also available. Where's that? H14. Oh, down from the K. Yeah, that will be one more point, but putting an R in the middle of row O, so I prefer my play. Nice rack for opponent, but no bingo. Plays Gale. And now Shitter is the only bingo. So delighted to spot that. And that really gave me an unassailable lead. Opponent plays Rons, blocking my triple back-to-back bingo. And this was the rack I was agonising over. I played Fovea for 20, keeping blank E. Yeah, and possibly Evo. L12, that may have been the option, retaining a consonant. And wow, look at this, 7 vowels on opponent's rack. Totally grim, plays Uoi. And my rack, so I play Alcove, only 3 more points on offer with Vivace in column 8. Opponent plays Un. And finally, A10, Jaw available because of Gallia. That would have been nice, 23 points. And Orc, which I did see, but I must have misscored, was 21. So I went with All for 16. And that was the end of the game. So absolutely amazing fun. Very slow start, but then zoomed into life in the middle with back-to-back bingos and nearly triplicate back-to-back bingos. So all good fun. Many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.